Now we want to catch up the people who are not that familiar with it. So we calibrated all the levels of consciousness. We discovered that they correlate with common human experience. I can't use my finger anymore. I have to use this. The consciousness levels below 200, then this is an evolutionary scale. As you go up the scale, you see more advanced evolution. In the beginning, life had a very difficult time to survive. In the beginning, there was no animals here. There was no advanced forms of life. The most primitive form of life, then, to survive, let's say if you were going to create life on Mars, it would have to be programmed to survive. So the energy of life, as it appears initially and throughout all the lowest forms, is solely concerned with me, myself, my survival. It is not concerned about you. It doesn't even conceive of you unless you're edible. So the core of the ego, then, is survival of what is thought to be the source of one's life, not realizing that it comes out of divinity. It thinks it's self-created. So the source of life then becomes more evolved. You see more and more evolved animals. You start out with bacteria that calibrate at 1. We go up to insects. We'll do animals later. But as you evolve through the animal kingdom then, finally you see the hominid. You see the early forms of pre-human. Cro-Magnon man, who calibrates around 75. All the early forms of man, Homo erectus, calibrates extremely low. It's not until you see Homo sapien with the frontal cortex. Homo sapien then didn't score very high either. If you look at the history of Europe and the early history of civilization, you see mankind was not too evolved anywhere, frankly. And only in the late 1980s did the consciousness level of mankind cross over 200. It was at 190 all through the Middle Ages, 1800s. Suddenly, we're in a new paradigm, and this new paradigm of reality, which calibrates over 200, is spiritual awareness, and we call it Homo spiritus. Homo spiritus, because it now has an etheric brain, and it now processes things differently than any of his hominid predecessors.